Hey, good morning everybody. Beautiful down on the beach. Guys, we're dealing on the subject of giants in our devotional series. We based it upon the passage in 2 Samuel 21 where we read about 4 other giants that David had to deal with in some shape or another. The guy we're dealing with at the moment is a man by the name of Saph, and his name means fear. He is the giant who tries to control us by making us fearful, and we all know that that's one of the greatest tactics of Satan, because he knows that when he makes you fearful he can control you. It's as simple as that. But there are some fears, I think, that sometimes must be considered to be legitimate. One of the fears that is legitimate is the fear of being found out. I think this needs to be dealt with in a very special way. You know, some of these fears require some action on our behalf. We can't over-spiritualize them. There's that measure of responsibility that we spoke about the other day. And this fear of being found out, I'm told, is one of the greatest fears that people have today. The fear that comes, what gives you a guilty conscience when you think, man, if these people really found out about me, then they wouldn't like me anymore, or my ego would take a dive, or, you know, we live with a guilty conscience when we don't deal with this fear of being found out. I read recently of an interesting thing where in the States, apparently they have a phone line that you can phone, and you can confess the things that you don't want people to know about. They reckon that just the action of speaking out your confession of the thing that you fear the most of being found out is really psychologically a very good thing for you to do. And so they reckon that this is a relief system. It's like the pressure valve that gets released when you actually confess the thing that you fear that you'll be found out about. Now we look back at the Garden of Eden, and we see Adam and Eve running away from God because they were in fear of being found out. They had been found out, and now they were running from God. They just didn't want to be held accountable or responsible for that which they had done. Isn't it sad that we run to telephone lines, we run to counselors, and I have nothing against counselors. I think they hear many good confessions that are very good for you to talk about. But instead of running to people, why don't we run to God first of all? Why don't we run to Him and we confess our sins? And we know that the scripture tells us that if we confess our sins, He, that is God, is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. People, do it, for goodness sake. And then we read in James that the confession that we need to make to people is also a legitimate one. That we go to people, a safe group of people, where we can share with them our sadness or our sin. And it's something good for your soul to confess that stuff. I do just throw in a little bit of a warning here. Be careful who you speak to. Don't go speak to the local skinny bag, because they're going to get this thing around town in no time. Find somebody who's trusted, somebody who you can look up to, and someone who will listen to you and receive that confession with compassion and understanding, and pour grace instead of guilt upon you. That's going to be an awesome thing for you to do. So James tells us to go and confess our sins to one another. Great thing to do. Just be careful who that one another might be. If you're suffering today, maybe with a guilty conscience, maybe you've got fears of skeletons in the cupboard suddenly emerging, or maybe you've got fears of things that you have done in the past that apparently nobody knows about. You know what? This is a time for you to take courageous action and find confession, that you can find somebody that you can speak to in order to make your confession real. People, there is no substitute for a clear conscience, and there's nothing more miserable than a guilty one. If you're feeling a guilty conscience, talk to God, talk to someone who can be trusted, and I'm going to tell you the results you may find to be incredibly good for your soul. I hope that you will do that, because that's the biblical way to deal with this fear of the things that we want to hide from people, and I hope you'll do that today. Have a great day. Bye.